Imagine waking up to headlines about neighboring countries clashing violently along a disputed border, with accusations flying and lives lost in a tense standoff. That's the explosive reality unfolding between Afghanistan and Pakistan right now, where territorial disputes and security fears are boiling over into deadly confrontations. But here's where it gets controversial. Whose claims should we believe when both sides are pointing fingers? And could this spark a wider regional crisis? In a dramatic escalation, Afghan officials announced on Sunday that their forces had successfully eliminated 58 Pakistani soldiers during overnight operations along the shared border. This, they explained, was a direct retaliation to what they described as persistent intrusions into Afghan territory and airspace. To put this in perspective for those new to the story, such border violations often involve unauthorized crossings or aerial incursions, which can heighten tensions in areas already fraught with mistrust. Just days prior, Afghan leaders accused Pakistan of launching airstrikes that targeted the bustling capital city of Kabul and a marketplace in the eastern part of the country. Pakistan, however, has remained silent on these allegations, neither confirming nor denying involvement. This lack of acknowledgement adds another layer of mystery. Why the silence, and does it hide something deeper? The Taliban government's top spokesperson, Zabihullah Mujahid, provided more details during a press briefing in Kabul. He revealed that Afghan troops had seized control of 25 Pakistani military outposts, resulting in the deaths of 58 soldiers and injuries to another 30. Mujahid emphasized that the situation across all official and unofficial Afghan borders is now fully secured, with illegal activities largely curtailed. As you might expect, Pakistan has yet to verify these casualty figures, leaving room for debate over the accuracy of the reports. And this is the part most people miss. The absence of independent verification in such claims can fuel skepticism and even conspiracy theories about who's really escalating the conflict. Pakistan has a history of conducting strikes within Afghan borders, claiming they target safe havens for militants in rugged, hard-to-reach mountainous regions. These actions have sparked repeated clashes along the shared frontier, but Saturday night's intense fighting stands out as a stark indicator of worsening security strains. The Taliban-led defense ministry confirmed early Sunday that their military had carried out these retaliatory and successful operations at the border, warning that any further breaches of Afghan sovereignty would provoke a robust defense response. The fallout was immediate. Key trade crossings like Torkham, one of the primary routes for commerce between the two nations, and Chaman remained shut on Sunday morning, disrupting economic ties. For beginners, think of these crossings as vital gateways. Their closure can halt the flow of goods, from everyday supplies to larger trade deals, affecting livelihoods on both sides. Adding fuel to the fire, Pakistan points the finger at Afghan authorities for sheltering militants from the outlawed Tehrik-e-Taliban Pakistan, TTP, a group notorious for orchestrating lethal attacks within Pakistan. Islamabad insists the TTP uses Afghan soil as a base to launch operations, but Kabul vehemently rejects this, asserting they forbid any use of their land to threaten neighbors. This back and forth over the TTP is a classic example of disputed accusations, much like debates over who harbors fugitives in international relations. And it begs the question, is this truly about security, or is it a pretext for deeper geopolitical maneuvering? Before Afghanistan's casualty claims surfaced, Pakistani Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif publicly denounced the attacks and boasted that Pakistan's military had delivered a fitting reply to Afghan provocations, demolishing several outposts and compelling a retreat. This claim, of course, flips the narrative, painting Pakistan as the defender rather than the aggressor. Meanwhile, Saudi Arabia weighed in with a call for calm, urging both parties to exercise restraint, steer clear of escalation, and embrace dialogue to preserve regional peace and stability. This intervention comes hot on the heels of a recent mutual defense agreement between Saudi Arabia and Pakistan, which reportedly places the kingdom under Islamabad's nuclear protection umbrella. Interestingly, this pact was finalized following Israel's assault on Qatar, illustrating how global events can ripple into local conflicts. A high-ranking Pakistani security source, speaking anonymously as they weren't authorized for public comment. detailed that Afghan troops initiated gunfire in multiple northwestern border zones within Pakistan's Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province. Specific areas mentioned included Chitral, Bajor, Mohmand, Angkor Ada, and Kurram. In response, Pakistani forces unleashed heavy artillery fire near Tira in Khyber district and into Afghanistan's Nangarhar province across the line. The two nations share an extensive 2,611-kilometer, approximately 1,622-mile border, historically delineated by the Durand Line, a colonial-era demarcation from the late 19th century that Afghanistan has never formally acknowledged. This refusal to recognize the border is a key flashpoint, symbolizing unresolved historical grievances and territorial ambitions. For context, the Durand Line was drawn by British colonial powers to separate Afghanistan from what was then British India, and its rejection by Afghanistan often resurfaces in debates about sovereignty and national identity. As tensions simmer, one can't help but wonder, are these border clashes isolated incidents, or harbingers of a broader proxy war fueled by external powers? Should international mediators like the United Nations step in more forcefully, or do these countries need to resolve their differences independently? And let's not forget the human cost. Families divided by an invisible line, economies disrupted, and soldiers on both sides risking their lives. What do you think? Is Pakistan's nuclear umbrella a stabilizing force or a dangerous escalation? Do you side with Afghanistan's claims of self-defense or Pakistan's accusations of harboring terrorists? Share your thoughts in the comments. Does this situation remind you of other border disputes around the world, like those between India and China? Associated Press contributors Sajjad Tariqzai from Islamabad and John Gambrell from Cairo helped compile this report.